I want to tell you a story today. It's a story from a mission trip that, honestly, it completely changed how I see everything. It all started with a simple longing and ended with a revelation that, to this day, just leaves me speechless. It's about a kind of divine puzzle put together one person at a time, right in the heart of Turkey.
You know, I've come to believe that mission, at its very core, isn't really about what we go and do. It's about discovering what God desires, what He longs for. And let me tell you, sometimes He shows you that longing in the most unbelievable ways. So, picture this. It's the end of 1999. The entire world is freaking out about the Y2K bug, right? People thought computers would crash, the whole system might fail, total chaos. But for me and my friends, we were longing for a totally different kind of new beginning, the return of Jesus. So while everyone else was stocking up on canned goods, I was packing a suitcase and getting on a plane. Our destination was Turkey, this land just steeped in ancient history. We had absolutely no idea that we were about to walk right into a story that God Himself was writing. For the first 2 weeks, our trip was pretty much what you'd expect. You know, meeting people, sharing our faith, handing out Bibles. But it was in the third week, as our little team of 4 was traveling around, that things started to get, well, a little weird. Our first stop on this leg of the journey was a city called Konya.
So in Konya, we visited a school and met this wonderful young woman, a student named Emil. She was so kind, she even invited us to her home. But her family, they were devout Muslims, and they made it very, very clear we were not welcome. We had to leave pretty fast, feeling honestly a little defeated. But later that night, as we were all praying together, something just clicked. I remembered her name, and I remembered what it meant. In Turkish, Emel means desire. And that was it, the very first piece of a puzzle we didn't even know we were solving. We just couldn't shake the feeling. This wasn't just a coincidence. It felt like a message, like a whisper from God, showing us His own heart, His own desire for the people of Turkey. That one thought completely changed the way we saw the rest of our journey.
So, from that moment on, we weren't just missionaries anymore. We felt like detectives on a divine assignment or something. With every new city we went to, we started looking for the next clue, wondering, okay, God, who are you going to have us meet next, and what's their name going to mean?
And sure enough, in Adana, we met a high school girl named Neslihan. Then, in Antioch, this incredibly kind police officer named Barish helped us find a hotel and even paid for it himself. After that, in Gaziantep, a university manager named Adne Can just opened his home to us. Every single person was a blessing, but the real mind-blowing part was in their names. Okay, so here's how the pieces started fitting together. We found out that Neslihan means princess and Barish means peace. And get this, Adnan Can means power. Do you see it? A pattern was forming. Desire for a princess to bring peace through power. It was a sentence, a message about the kingdom of God. This wasn't random. It was a story unfolding right in front of us. We felt it with this total certainty that God was telling us loud and clear that His desire was to see His kingdom, His rule and reign restored in this nation. But the puzzle, it still wasn't finished. Our next stop was a city called Kayseri. We were heading there to meet up with the rest of our team, and we were thinking, wow, the most amazing part of our journey has to be behind us. Oh, we were so wrong. God had another layer to add to this incredible mystery.
In Kayseri, we ended up meeting 2 different high school students. We talked with them, sang a song, and gave them a New Testament. And here's the crazy part. Both of these girls, who we met completely separately, had the exact same name, Tuba.
When we found out what Tuba means, we were just floored. It means the tree of life in Eden. The tree of life. We were like, what? What does that have to do with the kingdom of God?
And that's when it hit us. The kingdom of God isn't just some abstract idea. It's the restoration of Eden. It's about returning to that perfect fellowship with God, where His rule brings life, just like the tree of life. The message was getting so much deeper.
So now we had all these incredible puzzle pieces: desire, princess, peace, power, and the tree of life. It really felt like a complete picture. Our mission was coming to an end, and we were heading to our final meeting point, just buzzing with everything we'd seen. But God had saved the most important piece for the very end.
We hucked in a taxi to get to our hotel. On the way, we sang a worship song for the driver and gave him a New Testament. He dropped us off, we paid, and he drove away. We thought, okay, that's that. But not even 5 minutes later, his taxi pulls up again, He gets out and walks right into our hotel lobby.
He walked right up to us and just said, "I want to believe in Jesus." He told us he'd heard about Jesus from a friend before, but getting that New Testament from us was like the final sign he needed. Right there in the middle of a hotel lobby in Turkey, he prayed to receive Christ. We were just ecstatic. This was God's longing in action.
So, as we're all celebrating this incredible moment, a thought just pops into my head. After this whole journey of names and meanings, we had to know. So we asked him one last, simple question. What is your name?
He looked at us and said his name was Khan. We asked him what it meant, and he just replied, in English, with one single word: King. I mean, we were speechless, just completely and utterly floored. The final piece of the puzzle wasn't just another piece, it was the entire point. In that moment, it felt like God wasn't whispering anymore. He was shouting. After showing us his desire, his princess, his peace, his power, and his plan to restore Eden, he signed the whole message with his own name, King. It was like he was declaring for all to hear, "I am the king of this land."
That experience, it changed everything for me. It was so much more than just a series of crazy coincidences. It was this profound lesson in how God speaks, how he reveals his own heart to us, if we're just willing to look and listen.
And here's what I really learned. Our whole lives are a journey of getting to know God better. And mission, whether that's on the other side of the world or just across the street, it's just an invitation to discover his heart, to see his longing for the people he loves, one person, one encounter at a time.
So that kind of leaves us all with the question, doesn't it? If God could write a story like that through a bunch of seemingly random encounters in Turkey, what story does he want to write through you? What clues might he be putting in your path? Today, who will God have you meet?